Hey folks, Ben from Smoking Hot Confessions here. I'm at the downtown Hammond BBQ Challenge. It's a beautiful day, there's smoke in the air, things are looking really good. With me right now, I've got the man himself, Eric Phares of Hammond BBQ Inc. Now, you remember Eric from season 3 of the podcast last year. I interviewed him about this very competition, and now here I am 12 months later, I'm here in person, mate.
Wonderful. Thanks for coming.
Mate, thanks for having me here. It is absolutely fantastic.
What do you think about this, the weather?
This is beautiful. I'm from the Gold Coast. I think we're sort of on a similar equator line.
Right.
And mate, this is like home for me.
Hey, I'm telling you, this is, as they call it, Chamber of Commerce weather.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So how is this festival sort of shaping up this weekend?
It's great. The weather is a big part of it, but we have 49 proteins from 14 different states in here. We have 40 backyard teams competing and 8 kid teams competing over in the Chicken Little. We have on this side of the tracks, we have all the pros. That side of the tracks, we have all the locals, along with the vendor area over there too. So you can't help but get out in this weather.
It's just so beautiful, mate. So, given that you've literally got this side of the tracks, that side of the tracks, which side is the right side and the wrong side of the tracks?
Always this side, the side I'm on. So, but yeah, it's the reason we have on one side of the tracks is because the train is still a working train. Is the Canadian line that comes from Canada that goes all the way down to New Orleans. There's nothing we can do. And in KCBS, if you miss the time turn in, you're disqualified. You have a 10-minute window, 5 before, 5 after. If you miss that, you're disqualified. So we keep it on one side.
Right, okay. Oh, of course, yeah. I was going to ask, does that mean that you have to line up the train times with your hand-in times? But no. Of course, if all the pro teams are on this side,
right,
and everyone else on that side, then that's fine.
Exactly. And that's why we do it. The city, the beautiful city, and city council and the community would like us to expand, but we can't cross the tracks. And then if we go if you notice, down this way, it's too far from turn-in, which is right where we're standing. So it's just a time thing and a distance thing.
Yeah.
So
Yep, got it. So with competitors from 14 different states, what kind of different flavor profiles or influences are we going to see here in this competition?
The great thing about KCBS, the judges travel, so it doesn't matter what region you're in. They're going, you cook the profile for Kansas City barbecue side, which is mostly sweet, tangy, it's a little hot on the back end, and because all the judges travel so well. So it's not really a regional thing, when you're doing the KCBS thing.
Interesting. So I guess competition barbecue transcends boundaries then. It's sort of...
Exactly. You have the Kansas City, the hot and sweet and sticky, then the Memphis, the wet, sweet, the Carolinas, the vinegar based, that kind of stuff. We have 4 or 5 teams from Virginia. They've changed, because they're cooking KCBS, they've changed to a sweet and sticky kind of sauce instead of the vinegar based sauce they usually use.
Ah, right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been talking to a few different teams this morning from around the place, and I've been asking them, so what kind of influences are you bringing? And they're all just saying, look, we're just cooking competition barbecue.
Right.
Or they just don't want to tell me their secrets.
Well, they do. Most of them do. The different sanctioning bodies, like IBCA is a Texas kind of thing, where you'll have more of the hot pepper beef kind of thing. Kansas City is more of the sweet rib kind of thing, and Memphis is the wet, just juicy kind of sweetness. So, but when you do KCBS, they try to do the sweet and the tangy with a little spice on the end.
I'm actually road tripping through Louisiana and then up through Memphis and then up through St. Louis before hitting Kansas City for the NBBQA conference.
You'll see it all. You'll see it all then, all the regions.
I've got a checklist in the glove box of the car, and I'm like, tick, tick, tick.
Right. That's what you have to do. You have to make a list, or you'll go crazy trying to figure it out. Yep. Now, when you're in Memphis, the Rendezvous, the most famous one in Memphis, and then of course down Beale Street, you have all that. But Rendezvous is right there by the Peabody Hotel, right around the corner.
Sounds good to me. I'll have to definitely go and check them out.
Yep.
So, how has this competition evolved in the last couple of years?
The main thing is the size of the rigs have changed.
I have noticed that there are some big rigs here.
Big rigs. You still have a couple 20 by 20 people with their tents and setup, but then you have these massive rigs that come in that have a 40-foot motorhome pulling a 30-foot trailer. So I got 70 feet of rig on one team. And in this downtown setting is I'm stretched for space. I need every foot to get all these teams in. And we have 49 teams. We had 52. One had trailer problems and one had some personal problems. So, we keep it around 50 teams here.
Yeah, it's very impressive, some of these rigs. Like I was just talking to one fella down the end here, Chick, Swine and Bovine.
Right. He's actually a past champion.
He lives in that thing.
Yeah. He moved from, I think, the East Coast, and he's moved to Florida.
Maryland to Florida,
yeah.
Yep.
And he is an ex-prison guard. So, and actually he's big into the Operation Barbecue Relief.
Yep.
So he's pushing that, and he travels around doing Operation Barbecue Relief.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so good, so good. Yeah, you got a ton of the big names here. It's fantastic.
It's some new teams this year from Florida and Virginia, and a lot of the teams have been coming for years. Include Mr. Johnny Trigg over here. He's been coming all 16 years. This is our 16th year. And he says, you've got some top-notch teams in here. One team right next to him, Buckshot, is actually leading KCBS points right now.
All right.
So
wow.
this is a destination. The way the community and all of the people in here in the city embrace these teams that come in, they love it. They love it, and they love being here.
Yeah, it's obviously a very top spot.
Yes.
So what would be the most challenging thing about putting on a competition like this?
Getting the community involved. If the community is not behind you, it's very difficult to get what you need from the city. The electricity, every spot we have here, over 55 spots, all has 30 amp power.
Wow.
And water that the city provides.
Right.
I introduced you earlier to a guy that we went all over the country starting this 18 years ago, and he's business, and he said it's not rocket science, it's logistics. If we get the logistics down, after that, it's easy.
If we're looking at it, we've got, 4 city blocks on either side that is blocked out. So, yeah.
What we call this along the railroad track here, the Canadian railroad track, we call it the parking mall for downtown. So we have lots of parking for downtown businesses. So we take this whole area for 4 days.
So if the public are resistant to it, then that's not going to happen.
Exactly.
So then, following up from that question, then what is the best thing about putting on a competition like this?
The people you meet, the community that you grow together on this. All these travel people you see, you may only see once a year, but you also see the great things that everybody provides to everybody. We have one guy down here, he paid his money to compete. He said, I don't feel like cooking, but we're going to have a hospitality tent here. So everybody gather here, and we go down there and have a couple beers and relax at the end of the night and have fun.
So free beer. How far down was it?
It's down at the end, second to the last on the right. So
beautiful, beautiful.
Actually, we have a local brewery that on Thursdays we kick off this competition with what we call a pints and pairing, where we take beer from a local brewery called Gnarly Barley, and we pair it with the 4 meats, but we cook it differently. We had Jason Peregrine, who is the facilitator for the Jack Daniel's World Barbecue Championships, in as a guest chef. He lives in Dixon, Tennessee. And he took a take on chicken and waffles. He took the chicken thighs, sliced it thin, had a waffle bowl, and did all kind of stuff with some edible flowers in it that matched with the beer.
Wow.
And so it was, and I had a friend who drinks Miller beer. That's it. And he brought his own beer into the Pints and Perry, and I said, come on, man. But he actually came to me later and said, I actually tasted the beer with the food, and it was spot on, perfect. So we're going to do that again. That's our new format on doing that.
Beautiful, man. That sounds fantastic. Look, the judges have all just gone inside, so I'm guessing you probably got to go inside.
I have to go welcome the judges.
And supervise.
Yes, I just welcome them, and then my friend Deke, who helped start this, he still volunteers and heads up the judging. So I'll welcome him, and then he'll take over.
Well, mate, thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate you having me here.
I'm glad you're here. Glad you could make it.